So before the free page switch, I had 655 page views. After I flipped it, I got 909 page views. So that might make it look like I'm getting more page views because of this switch. Hey TPT sellers, the ABCD tool is here. You can download it today. I'm going to show you how you can figure out if that change that you made on your TPT product page actually increased sales or was just busy work. This is episode 10 of my 10x journey to try to increase my sales by a factor of 10. I love how we start to tinker with our store to try to figure out how to increase sales. But if we're not looking at the data to see if our changes actually improve sales, then we're not optimizing what we're doing. We're just making changes blindfolded. This episode is for TPT hamsters and above. I'm going to explain how to get the ABCD tool today. You're going to have to use the data locker. I'm going to show you how to get the event log tool that I use. And then I'm going to play with data to try to figure out if the changes I'm making on my formerly best-selling resource is actually improving things or making things worse. This video is a proof of concept video. It means I'm going to show you what's possible to do with data. Some of you will be able to watch this video, you'll replay it, you'll pause it, and you'll be able to do what I do. And others of you, it's just going to be way over your head and it's going to be a little bit confusing. And that's okay. We're all starting at a different point. If this is the first time that you've seen me use a Google Sheet tool, I highly suggest you check out the simple version. Just go to Teachers Pay Teachers and search up TPT Seller. There I am, Mike Fuchigami, TPT Seller Tips. When you go to my second store, if you scroll down, here it is, the Easy TPT Product Stat CSV tool. There's a couple of videos on this site where I explain to you how to use the colors to figure out what to improve next. For those of you who've been around and you've used the free data tool, this is the next step. The ABCD tool lets us figure out if changes we make leads to sales. If you get stuck, if you get confused, ask questions. I'm here to help you in the YouTube comments. The ABCD tool will eventually be free for everyone once the channel hits 4,000 watch hours. But for those of you who want to use it right now, or you need to use it right now like me because your sales are tanking, there's an early bird sneak peek version available as the bonus file of the ultimate bundle. I hope you're watching this video on the day that it's getting published, because right now you can get that ultimate bundle for $3 and this is the cheapest it's ever going to be. After you see what I can do with my event log tool, you might want a copy of that as well. Right now it's free on my Mike Fuchigami TPT store. Here's my scoreboard for my 10x journey. It's Saturday, March 16th. I've got 290 days left, so the red shows how much time has passed. I've made 4.4 thousand of my $92,000 goal this year. And last year, this time, I made 6.4 thousand. The blue shows where I am, and I can see that I'm way behind where I should be based on this time. This week, I was $57 behind where I was last year. Here's my store dashboard for 2004 so far. I am literally $2,000 behind where I was last year. My top selling reading bundle is down $1,900 compared to last year. This is where the bulk of the sales is going down. So this is the resource that I'm paying attention to. Now this year, I do have another 10x bundle that the reading bundle is a part of. And so it's possible that the 10x bundle is sort of parasiting some of the sales. So if I look at this year's income from those two resources, I'm down by $1,350, but still it's a significant chunk of change. Let me show you how to get the ABCD tool right now. I go to the Mike Fuchigami TPT Seller Tips store. I go to the ultimate bundle. Hopefully you get this message in time. It's only $3 right now. So I'm going to buy one on my teacher account because I like to test how things look. All right, I just bought the resource. So now I'm going to click Get Bundle, Download All. I'm going to download it to my computer. I'm going to open up the zip file. I see here's the bonus file. It says ABCD Sneak Peek bonus file. I'm going to open this file. Here's the PDF. Step 1, get a copy of the ABCD tool. So I'm going to click on this link. It's a forced copy link, so I'm going to make a copy. And I'm just going to put my name in the file and I'm going to bookmark this and put it into my Mike folder. So now I have a copy of the ABCD tool. It's a very simple sneak peek version. It only has the ABCD tool. Once I have 4,000 watch hours on the YouTube channel, this ABCD tool will be available to everyone. If you go to freesellertool.com, at that point, you can just download it like normal there. Now, I have to use the data locker in order to use the ABCD tool. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the data locker, you're going to have to watch the video up in the corner or go to the video description to watch 10x episode 6. And I show you how to upload your product stat CSV files into the data locker. You're going to need to upload at least 3 or 4 different product stat CSV files. So here's my copy of the ultimate bundle bonus. And there's even here on step 10, it says watch this video to see how to use data locker orange. Now I already have a data locker, I'm going to go to my Mike bookmark folder. I'm going to hold Control and click on this link to the data locker. And if I show you here in my product stats CSV, I have a bunch of product stats from different dates. Basically, every time I change something on my TPT store, I download the product stats CSV from that day. So I'm going to copy the link to my data locker, the URL up here, Control C. I'm going to go to my ultimate bundle. I'm going to go to my ABCD tool. In the orange cell, I'm going to go Control Shift V because Google has started to try to replace it with the name of the file and I need the actual URL. And now if I scroll down, I have to give access to this. There's a tiny red triangle here in total earnings. If I hover over it, it says you need to connect these spreadsheets and I have to click on this green button that says allow access. If I hover over, I can see it's adding permissions. It might take a second or two depending on the speed of your internet. I know it's done when it's loaded some information on this front screen. I can see it has 152 product stat CSVs. So now that I've loaded my data, I can click on the ABCD tool. Now what I need to figure out are the dates that I changed my resource in order to compare time before and after. Let's talk about the event log. The event log that I'm going to show you is currently available for free. It says event log tool here. If I go to the Mike Fuchigami TPT Seller Tip store, if I scroll down, let's see, here it is, event locker tool. So if I click on this and if I click on download, it'll download a PDF with more instructions. This product is still under construction, but it's 80% perfect. It's good enough to start. It's an advanced tool. The product preview will explain how to set it up. If you scroll down in the product description, there's a Loom video where I show you how I use it when I update a product and how I fill out the form and save the data. I'm going to let you explore the TPT event log tool on your own. If you have questions, ask me on the TPT store or ask me in the YouTube comments. Right now, this is a proof of concept video. I'm going to use my tools to try to figure out how to improve my store. Here's my ABCD tool, but I need to know when the dates are that I changed things. So up here in my Mike bookmark folder, I've bookmarked here my TPT event log dashboard. I'm just going to hold Control and click on that, and Control click just forces it to open in a new tab. This is what my TPT event log dashboard looks like. You can see I put in a bunch of different entries every time I update my resources here. I've been keeping track of event logs all the way down since September 2023. That's crazy. Now, I only want to see the event logs that have to do with my reading bundle. So I go to the product page for my reading bundle. I copy the website address. I copy the URL. I go into my event log, and in this yellow field, I'm just going to paste the URL, and that pulls up the product ID, and it only shows me entries for this product ID. I know I have the correct resource because it's pulled up the name of the product, Reading Comprehension Strategies. I'm just going to walk you through some of the changes I've made. On January 7th, I did a major product description update. I added social proof. And in fact, I have a backup description folder where I save the HTML files every time I make a change. Let's see if I can find January 7th, 2024. Here it is. And if I open this file up, this is what my product page looked like on January 7th, 2024. And it says so up here. So this is a saved file. This isn't what my product page looks like right now, but I can see the social proof that I added here. I can see that I'm adding in directly the 4 pro tips at the top. Other changes I've tried over the last couple of weeks. On Monday, January 22nd, I tried an experiment where I flipped some resources from paid to free to paid. You can't do that with the bundle, but you can do it with the component resources within a bundle. So that's what I did on January 22nd. Basically every other resource, I flipped it from paid to free to paid because there was a live stream episode where Enrica and I discovered that when we did that, it provided a boost in her TPT SEO ranking. And that boost was probably because it removed a decay factor. So there's probably a decay factor. If you don't update your resources every year or every whatever number of days, then your TPT search ranking result will probably decrease over time. So full disclosure, this is kind of a hacky way to boost your TPT SEO rank. So I did disclose this to TPT. Who knows what they've done with that disclosure? I don't recommend doing that trick because I actually messed it up. And on February 7th, when I was looking at my data, I realized that, hey, my product preview rates are really down. And I realized it's because when I flipped the resource from paid to free back to paid again, I accidentally messed up the product preview because of the way that I did it. So if you want to know what my mistake was, just ask in the comments. But on February 7th, I went through and I fixed the preview glitch. And here's what the resource looked like on February 7th. Now we won't be able to preview the included products because the links aren't clickable on the saved HTMLs. If you're new here and you're not sure how I save my HTML files, just ask in the comments and I'll let you know where the video is. Another change was on Tuesday, February 13th. I dropped the price to $24.99 because I looked at the data and I was wondering, well, maybe people aren't buying it. They're looking at the product previews, but they're not buying it because maybe the price is too high. So I dropped the price. Here's what my product resource looked like on February 13th up here. And you can see the price is $24.99. Then on February 29th, I looked at the data and it didn't look like there was a significant change because I changed the price. So I increased the price back to $35. So I'm curious to see if that's still the case. So on February 29th, the price went back up. Here's my saved file for February 29th. You can see up here, it says February 29th, and you can see the price is $34.99. Again, perception, it's $35, but the perception is that $34.99 is a little bit less. There's a reason why stores do that. Now, the last note I have in here is from Monday, March 4th. That's where I published a new text puzzle 12 and I added it to the bundle. I think by adding it to the bundle, it would have counted as if I had updated the product. And I think that would have cleared any TPT SEO decay factors that might be on it. Here's Monday, March 4th. And if I scroll down, I can see there are 19 products in the resource. I'm not able to actually click on these buttons. They don't actually go anywhere because that would require the live site. But this says 19 products. This is the save file from the 29th. I can see there's only 18 products. So I can see that I added one more product. So the event log just lets me accurately record when I make changes to my TPT products. I could do this on paper, but I'm a computer kind of person and this appeals to me. I'm just going to move this event log to the side over here. I'm going to go to my ABCD tool. Now there's some hidden settings over here above the letter D. There's a plus sign, so I'm going to open it up. I have to find what product stat CSV number it is. And I know from the past that this is my mega bundle here. It's resource number 45. So I'm going to go up to the top and I'm going to select product number 45 here. That's the one that I'm interested in. There are a couple of dates that I'm curious about. So I put them into the slideshow. I want to know what happened with that January 22nd experiment where I flipped the switch from paid to free to paid again to see if that reset the TPT SEO decay factor. January 22nd is my day of change. I'm going to put here as time point B, date of action. I'm going to put here January 22nd. Here's a drop-down list of all the dates that are in my data locker. I'm going to choose January 22nd. And the day that I'm going to put on the other end for point C, I'm going to put February 7th because that's when I fixed the preview glitch. So let's put February 7th here. There we go. I'm just going to go view full screen just to get some more real estate here. Now, if I scroll here, I just want to see it's about 16 days. So I'm going to try to choose 16 days before the 22nd. I don't know. What is that? January 6th? Let's see if I have something around there. I have January 6th. So basically it takes the product stats and it subtracts the two files to figure out the true page view during that time. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm going to put in here notes because I'm going to forget what I did. On January 22nd, this is when I did the free paid switch. All right. So before the free paid switch, I had 655 page views. After I flipped it, I got 909 page views. So that might make it look like I'm getting more page views because of this switch. The preview rate is about the same. Before and after, it's around 35%. But my sold rate after is lower. If the preview rate's around the same, it means they're looking at the product description and they're like, yeah, I'm curious. Let me check out the preview. And then when they look at the preview, I think what happened was because I broke half of the previews, they're like, no, I'm not going to buy this. And so then that's why my sold rate dropped. And so that makes sense to me. I can see that my earnings went down because I broke the previews. On the side computer here, I can see that I fixed the preview glitch on February 7th. So let's add this here to my notes. February 7th, I fixed previews. And then what would be 16 days after February 7th? Well, see, I changed the price on February 13th. So this might be inaccurate. But okay, so let's ignore the price change. So 16 days after February 7th is around February 23rd. Let's see what I have around that date. I have February 23rd. Now my labels have changed to A, B, B, C, C, D, which can be a little bit confusing. So I'm going to go up here and I can actually change the labels. From point A to B, I'm going to call this before free paid switch. Oh, but it's so big we can't really see it. All right, so how about I put before free, before hack? Let's put that. Okay. And then from B to C, that's where it was a broken previews. So I'm going to put preview broke. And then from C to D, that's after I fixed the preview. So I'm going to put fixed preview. And I'm just gonna shrink the font a little bit just so it shows up a little bit better here. Okay. Nice. Now I have some labels that'll make it easier for me to understand the data. Let's move this data over to the side here. So before the hack, I had 655 previews. After the hack, I had 909 previews. And then after that time period, around the same. So it looks like switching it from free to paid increased my page views. This isn't going to work for everyone. This resource I hadn't updated in a while. And by updating it in the system's eyes, because switching it from free to pay to free, according to the system, is a reset, it looks like it removed the decay factor. So that's how I got more page views there. That'll only work if you have a product that you haven't updated in a while, but you're playing with fire because you might break the previews. Ask me how I broke the previews and ask me the mistake that I made in the comments. See, I would have thought that fixing the previews, would have improved the sold rate, but it didn't. I was hoping that it'd go back to 2.4%, but it didn't. So then there's another reason why people aren't buying. Maybe the reason is because maybe it's too expensive. Okay, I'm gonna write this down somewhere because I'm gonna forget. Fixing previews didn't increase sold rate. Is the product too expensive? That could be it, right? Like if you fix the previews and you have awesome previews, but it's not improving the sold rate, it could be because, well, here's the perceived value of your resource. Here is the cost of your resource. If you improve the product previews so that you're communicating the perceived value better, it could still be that the product is too expensive. And so that's why you're not getting more sales. So I did try a price drop experiment on February 13th, and I changed the price back up on February 29th. So let's see if I can analyze this data. I'm going to clear my labels, and I'm going to clear my notes, and I'm going to just delete the dates here. So that just clears everything. But I'm still looking at product 45 because this is my reading bundle. And I know it's my reading bundle because the name shows up here in green. Okay, so the date of action, I dropped the price to $24. I'm going to put $24.99 here. I changed this on February 13th, and I phrased it as a Valentine's Day sale. Okay, I increased the price again on February 29th. To $35. So I'm going to put here February 29th. And before it was also $35. How many days is that roughly? That's around 16 days. Okay. So 16 days before the 13th. Is that like the 17th maybe? January 17th? I have the 17th here. Nope, that's 27 days. Oh, duh, sorry. So it should be 13 days and then 3 days into January. So January 28th. Let's see if I have something around there. Here's January 29th. And if I scroll to the side here, 15 days. Yeah, good enough. So before and after, before I changed the price and after I changed the price. That's what I'm looking at here. So before the 13th, the price was $35. After the 13th, it was $24. My thinking is if the price is too high, then I should expect the sold rate to go up, right? The page views are pretty close. They're around 1,000. The product preview rate is around the same, 34%. The wish list rate is lower after I drop the price. And so maybe that's because people are buying it. But I can see that the sold rate is around 1. The sold rate went down. And in fact, the earnings went down because I probably sold less. There's a shelf above AB. There's a plus sign. If I open that up, that's the average earnings per day. So my average earnings per day went down, and I wonder if it went down because the product is cheaper. I'm selling it for $10 less. So that makes sense that the earnings per day went down. But my sold rate didn't increase to compensate for that. So I don't think that worked. If I click above the U, above page views here, I can see the data from my product stats CSV. And I can see the units sold. Before, when it was more expensive, I sold 14 units. After, when it was less expensive, I sold 10 units. And sometimes more expensive, if it's expensive, it does convey value. There must be a reason why it's expensive. All right, let's close this shelf. So let's see what happens. On February 29th, I raised the price to $35. Okay, and this is around what, 15, 16 days? So let's try to add 16 days here. So around March 15th. Let's see if I have product stats CSV from around there. Oh, today's March 16th. I can get today's data. I'm going to go to teacherspayteachers.com, product statistics. I'm going to click download to Excel. I have a folder where I save all my CSV files. Here's March 16th. Ooh, you'll get to see me update my data locker. So here's my data locker. I'm going to go to the bottom and click on the product stats CSV tab. I'm going to go to the bottom of this. I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut, control down on the keyboard, jumps to the bottom, it jumps to the last line. I'm in column B. I'm going to go file, import, upload, browse. I'm going to find my products.csv file. I'm going to replace the data at the selected cell. I have to first delete this row, the heading row, but then I also have to add the date, and it's 2024-03-16. I'm going to copy that, and then the shortcut I use is I move over into the B column. I go Control down to get to the bottom. I move back into the A column. I go Control V to paste it in, and then I'm just going to go Control C and then Control Shift to hold it down to select. I appreciate that this is confusing, and I just click up to select it all. I could just select all the cells and go Control V. And if that's what you need to do, you could do that too. So now I can see that I have a bunch of March 16th here. If I go back into my ultimate bundle, that's crazy. The date has already showed up in here. It's March 16th. I can see it. So I'm going to choose March 16th as my time point D. Now I do need to have some labels because otherwise A, B, B, C, and C, D just don't mean a lot to me. So in the yellow cells here, I'm going to put some labels. So from A to B, it was $35. From B to C, it was $25. And then from C to D, it was $35. So let's see, the price change, the page views. I wouldn't expect the page views to really change. And I don't know that these are statistically significant. Oh, that's interesting. My preview rate went down when it was 26. My sold rate stayed around the same. How many days is this? This is around 16 days. So increasing the price led to a little bit more earnings per day. Well, $13.99 versus $12.99. The sold rate really hasn't changed. So now it makes me wonder, maybe January 29th to February 13th, maybe that's a time period where people are just buying like they're in school mode, as opposed to this last set here where it's March break mode. So that could explain the sold rate as well. Not as clear cut as I hoped it would be. So what have I learned here? I don't think changing the price made a difference because by dropping the price, I was hoping that I'd get more sales, more units sold, but that wasn't the case. I'm going to open up the hidden shelf here under U. If I look at units sold, yeah, so fewer units sold in the same time period when it was 35 bucks. But because the price is more expensive, I still made more money. There also were fewer page views. I mean, we could ask why. There are a lot of factors that could be coming into play there. The final thing I want to look at is on March 4th, I added a new product into the bundle, and I want to see if that made a difference. Here's the ABCD tool. I'm just going to clear my information. I'm going to clear my notes. I'm going to clear the labels, just delete that. And I'm just going to delete the dates here. The date that I changed the resource was on March 4th. So I'll put here March 4th. And on March 4th, I added text puzzle. Well, from March 4th to today, today's March 16th. So I'm going to put today's date. And I can see that that is around 12 days. So what was 12 days before the 4th? That's about 8 days in February. So maybe February 22nd. Let's see if I have that. Here we go, February 22nd. And if I scroll to the side here, it's around 11, 12 days. Do I have February 21st just to make it exact? Yeah, I do. Here we go, February 21st. Okay, my question now is, did adding a resource into the bundle produce any changes? So before and after, let's see, the preview rate was lower. Well, the number of page views didn't really change. I think it didn't change because I've already removed the decay factor when I flip the switch on some of those resources. That's my guess. The preview rate is lower after I added the resource. That means fewer people are looking at the preview. The sold rate is a little bit higher. Well, that's really interesting. Actually, that's very interesting. So I have like almost double the amount of earnings per day in this time period. So part of me wondered, maybe it wasn't a TPT SEO thing. Maybe it was that people saw the new text puzzle that I added, and then they decided I'm going to buy the bundle because it looks good, as opposed to just buying the text puzzle. So I'm going to add that to my notes here. Adding a resource may have boosted sales because people saw the resource but wanted the bundle. And that's the general approach with bundles. That's why bundles work, because we upsell into the bundle. People come for the resource, but we sell them on something more expensive or because it's better value for them. Where do I go from here? I think the one thing that did increase sales was producing more resources that upsold to the bundle. I might be at a point where there's only so much you can do. I can go through and update all these resources eventually. Like I am coming up with a visualization resource that I think will help sell this resource. But this is where I might spend time trying to upsell to the larger bundle, to this $50 resource, which includes all of my reading resources at incredible value. So again, I think moving forwards, I'm trying to bring my own customers to my store, bring your own buyers, and then maybe I'm trying to just continue to crank out resources that upsell to this product, along with trying to find other ways to increase eyeballs. So if you want this ABCD tool to do something similar, it's the bonus file on the Ultimate Bundle. If you're stuck and you don't really understand how to do this analysis, no problem. You can get free coaching from me. Just check out this video. YouTube thinks you should watch that video. And if you learn something new, please like the video and subscribe. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.